Okay, on page 75 of the manual, we have this little exercise here. What I want to point out is actually what it's pointing out, that line here passes through the center, not the midpoint of that arc. Right, so the center of the arc. So you've got to put the arc in first, and then go to the center point using your object snap center to finish the line there. Down here, you should start it from the corner there before you chamfer it. All right. So basically, what we want from there in box 10 is something that's 20 by 30 overall. So I'm going to draw the thing up first as a box, 20 by 30. So let's go using the offset command. While we're doing this, I'll teach you a bit about the offset command as well. So typing O for offset, or you can use this button here. Notice that we've got a few options here. We've got through, erase, and layer. By default, it's saying specify the offset distance. So I could put in a number here. Like now, I know that this line here is 20 away up here, and this line, vertical line, is 30 away this way. All right. So I know the number. The through option is different. The through option is if you knew that this line here had to go through the end point of that or the midpoint of that, then you'd use that option. Really, 9 times out of 10 at least, we use a number option. So get used to that. The first thing you've got to put in here, in this instance, is number 20. We said enter. All right, so we'll put that in. It's saying which object. It's this one here. A lot of people have difficulty saying, oh, is it this one or this one I need to pick? Well, it's this one here because this is the one, and it does give me a bit of a preview, because if I zoom out, I go this way, see how it puts it down the bottom? So all it wants to know is which side you want to put it in. And you just click with your left button there. There it is. Now, unfortunately now, I can't do the vertical one because this thing can only do 20s now. I've set it to 20s. It's fixed. There it is. So if I do this one, it'll be 20. That's no good. I want 30. So I'll erase that one there. So what I want to do is offset now. O for offset, enter. Put in 30 this time, enter. Yeah, okay, so we'll go here. And there it is. Now, just to quickly complete this thing here, I'll use the fillet command. Or I can extend this up and then trim that. But the fillet command will actually trim that excess line for me at the sime time. So F for fillet, oops, and enter to finish the other command. F for fillet, enter. And what we'll do is we've got to check that the radius is set to 0. Right, if it's not set to 0, we have to go alpha radius, or click on that and type in 0, enter. All right, and that will make a sharp corner. All right, there and there. All right. But I want to do that as well, just to complete it, and this as well. So if I was doing multiple fillets, I'll go F for fillet and go M for multiple, this one here. All right, so now I'm able to do, and notice I didn't have to worry about the radius is already set. So there you go, this sort of completes my little box. Enter that. All right, now, according to this thing here, it's 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters below, so just concentrating on that corner. O for offset again, 5, enter. You get to enter after you put some in. Click to the side. Doesn't matter where you click, as long as it's somewhere to this side. I can go all the way down here, it doesn't matter. It's still going to go 5, all right, because I've programmed that in. Now I can what I can do is trim these bits back. So I can use the trim command, TR, or I can use the trimming thing up here. That's the trim there. And notice on the trim we have extend as well. They're related commands. There's a trim command. Okay, the way the trim command works, we're discovering a few things here, is that it wants to know this is one of those funny commands that you need to be able to read a couple lines above to work out what it's asking you. It's saying selecting cutting edges, and then it says select objects. What it's actually saying is, I want the cutting edges to be revealed to me. So basically, I want that cutting edge, that can become a cutting edge to this line here. So I can trim this line to that vertical line. and this, and I can pick that one as well at the same time. I can pick up more than one cutting edge, which is a bit different to Revit. This one here can be cutting edge for that one there. It's a bit of a problem doing all that. Generally, 9 times out of 10 at least, again, we don't bother with cutting edges. We ignore that question. And if you notice, it says select all. If you press enter, see these little greater than, less than brackets. If something is in there and you press enter, it means I accept that default. So I'm going to make it, basically what that means is if I press enter, it will decide where the next cutting plane is, or line. So if I click on here, now the way the trim works is you click on the bit you want to remove, all right, not the bit you want to keep. So I'll click this one here then, and this one there, and it's done. I can even do this, I can bring this up there and that down here, but really it's a bit pointless. I'm about to do a fillet anyway, and that can do it for me, so I'm not going to waste 2 clicks, all right? Thinking ahead, enter. Now we're going to do fillet again. Now remember, we did fillet before to give us a right angle or a sharp corner. This time we want to use it so the radius is set to 5 millimeters, I think, or 1. Here we go, down here, all radiuses are set to 1. All right, so I've got to go click on the radius, type in 1, press enter. All right, I'm only doing one of them, so I don't really need to do multiple. All right, so now what we're going to do is we've got to be careful. If I click here and here, it's going to put the arc in here and get rid of those two. So I've got to be careful where I click. I'm going to click on the bit I want to keep again at this time. So this is the bit I want to keep, and that bit there, and it does that for me. All right. So that's cleaned it all up. Put the radius in. We're set to go. All right. Okay. Before I go on and do the next bit, let me just talk to you about offsetting a little bit more, which is basically, you know, I used offset before, and I put in 5, I put 20, put 30, and that's all I could do. Well, the other 10% of the time or less, where you might want to do through, is this way. Go O for offset, enter, and we might want to do through. So for example here, this is a fine example here. In fact, this is something that you need to do. It doesn't give you the overall length from, you know, from, it wants you to complete the rectangle. Now imagine the blue things are not there, all right. But here it gives you the numbers, so I know I have to offset this line from here to here 3, and then from here to there 4, and then 0.5 there. But how do I know what the length of, you know, of this is? Well, this is how you use the offset using the through option, and I'll just click on the T for through here, and means now again it's asking me, I'm reading select object to offset. This is the bit I want to offset. All right, so I've got that. Now it's hooked onto my thing here. The cursor. So where do I put it? Well, I want to put it at the end of that line there. So I've got to have geometry already there for this through thing to work. Well, not really, because I can do random stuff, but random stuff doesn't really mean anything. It's just lines at unknown set distances. So really, I want to pick this up and put it at the. Let me close that. Put it at the end point, because my object snap is not on, of that. Now the beauty about this thing here now, I can do another one without changing or getting out of the command, whereas before I had to get out of it to put the 30 in. This time I can pick this up and go and say, well, that's got to go there at the end point of that. There it is. So that's using the through option. That requires geometry to be already there. Okay, so so one way is putting in the numbers. The other way is using the through option. Another way you can use, and I'll use it on this one here, with actually putting numbers in, is this way. Without putting numbers in, you can actually use the geometry to do a bit of a number thing. So if, for example, I had something on here, let's just use something else. All right, if I had, all right, so I've got this thing here, so this width here. Got no idea what it is, but I know I want to do another 2 of those along here, all right, the same width. Now my options are to measure the distance between here and here, and then write it down, type it in the offset command next time, or I can put it straight into the offset command without using the distance command. Okay, O for offset, enter. All right, the distance. I just put my object snap on. All right, this is the distance I want to mimic. from this end point. Now, be careful, if I go to the end point here, it's picking up on diagonal, so it'll become a bit wider than normal. So I want to go straight across. How do I go straight across? I want to go straight across to using the perpendicular option here. Or I can do shift right click, and that will give me the perpendicular as well here. So I want to go straight across here. That's the number I want. I've got no idea what it is, and it doesn't even tell me. But I'm confident that if I click on this number here, on this line here, it'll create one that's exactly the same, and another one, as that width there, whatever that is. If I enter to finish, enter to go back in fact the number was 7.5450. Or it could have more, 7.5450101, whatever. It goes on forever. So it's a very accurate way without, it takes out the human error of reading the number wrong, typing it wrong, and also the rounding is taken care of automatically. You don't have to know what the rounding is, it just does it for you. All right, so that's really that's the same. This thing here, it's the same as me putting in number 7.5 whatever. It's a number thing, but it's telling it using the geometry. Okay, all right. Back to this thing here. Now, this is where people always get this wrong. I mean, 95% of my students get this wrong, even though it says make sure you go through there. All right. So before we put the chamfer down here, we would draw this line to finish this little thing off. The line command here will go from the corner there. All right. That's before I put the chamfer in. I'll just take the ortho off, and then this one up here, most people put it to the midpoint of this. Which basically is not where we want to go. We want to go to the center, right there. All right, the center of that. If that center doesn't come up, make sure you click this, and then hang around the perimeter or the arc, and you can actually click on the arc, and it will go to the center. All right, and that's the basis of setting that out. All right, so that's really good. There was another question that came out today from here. There was, for example, and this is not the right angle because I haven't got the instructions here, but you have something like this and you want to draw a line, the book says, draw a line that goes from the center of this, which is easy to get, perpendicular to this. The way to do it again is using this perpendicular button here, and that will make a 90 degree to that. All right, so there's a couple little things for you to know there, and we'll talk about trim and extent in more detail maybe next time as well. It was just a little preview then. Okay, thank you for your for listening, and let's go for stop.